Hello everybody and welcome to Andrew Discusses, the video series where I talk about something that kind of just pops into my head and try to start up a discussion with you, the viewers, in the comment section. I know, I haven't been able to find a good opening for this yet, sue me. Anywho, today I want to discuss something that ironically I'm still kind of feeling horrible that I'm getting complaints about, but happily haven't received any in at least a few months, so I'm kind of happy for that. I guess people just stopped watching it. So, last year I did, and by the way, it's last year as of this recording, so it would have been in 2019. I did a review of Little Shop of Horrors, the movie that starred Rick Moranis and, what was it, Eva Green. What was the other guy's name? Steve Martin, and a cavalcade of other characters, including a cameo by John Candy. And this was the 1986 version. There was an original version from the 1960s. And this kind of opened up a question, because when I reviewed the movie, I flat out said my thoughts on it. Now, I want to stress these thoughts again, if I may, for a moment here. I have no issue whatsoever with the songs in the movie, except for the one that honestly contradicts itself. And you'll be able to figure out which one that is if you've ever seen this movie. If you haven't, check it out and you'll know. But just look up the soundtrack and you'll know. So, aside from the one song that contradicts itself, the music in this thing is beautiful. I would chef kiss this all day long. I go, wow, that was good music. The plot has a hole in it, the size of a Mack truck at best. Then there's also the concept that I was not a fan of the original ending, which brought a lot of hate. I want to stress this as well. I'm not a fan of the original ending. I'm still not a fan of it. I have seen it, yes. I have looked it up on YouTube. I have seen it. I am not a fan of it. If you want my unbiased opinion of it, it was a stupid ending. The person who created it, and let me double check to make sure that I get their name correctly here. Shop of Horrors, 1986 film. So I'm pretty sure I remember the name of who did it, but I don't remember off the top of my head. Frank Oz. Okay, that's right. I was thinking it was Frank Oz. I wanted to make sure I was right before I 100% went into it. So, here's the whole thing. So, Frank Oz said in an interview after the test screenings of the movie, since this was based off of a play, which also was based off of a book, so there is that. When it's in a play, at the end of the play, the actors and cast come out, basically bow their heads, and they take a bow, and they prove that they are still alive. With the first ending of this movie, you didn't get that. That was what annoyed a lot of people and why the test screenings failed. I like how people are instantly going, but if the movie would have been shown nowadays, the original ending would have been the better ending and people would have appreciated it. I still don't think they would have. Let me put it to you this way. I only saw this movie for the first time ever last August. I only saw it ironically on my birthday, August 18th, 2019. That was when I saw this movie for the first time. Let's just think, wait, hold on. It was it was my birthday weekend, I know that. I think it was the 18th. It was the other way. Either way, it was my birthday weekend, so there is that. I'm almost certain it was it was the 17th. Okay, so the 17th I saw it. Either way, birthday weekend still counts. But that was the first time I had seen it. This came out in 1986. I was born in 1989. I spent a good 30 years almost avoiding this movie because I had not seen it. You can't count the 3 years between when it came out and I wasn't born yet. That can't count. So, at least a good 30 years that I had never seen it. So, that being said, I still don't think the original ending would have worked out that well. Now, here's the other interesting part of this. This is why I wanted to do this video to begin with. So, with the original 1960s version, Seymour basically has to do some murders. He murders a few people to feed Audrey 2, the plant. And here's the deal. He does do the murders in the original 1960s version, and even in the play. He murders, in the play he murders the shop owner, but he didn't do that in the original movie, I don't think, because I remember seeing the ending of it, which the ending is really stupid. He's just running around a construction site after the cops and the owner of the shop are going to have him arrested. So that was an interesting concept. Then we find out that he gets eaten, and anyway, by the plant, his head shows up in one of the leaves like all the other people did, which is how he got busted in the first place. But you have that. So he was responsible for the murder. He did kill... Well, okay, the dentist technically killed himself, so you really can't, put that. But the other two, I'm going to have to say, were probably Seymour's fault. And seeing as I've seen the clips of the original, I could watch the whole original, but I'm not a huge fan of black and white movies to begin with, one. And two, I could easily pull up the Cliff Notes and still get the same information that the movie's giving me from the Cliff Notes. It's that simple. In the original movie, the original ending of Seymour dying and becoming part of the plant, that's justifiable. That's basically his comeuppance for everything that he did. That was his penance, basically, for killing everybody and doing the deeds that he did. In the 1986 version, he didn't technically kill anyone. So, he fed the plant, he fed Audrey 2 with his own blood. However, he wasn't able to make enough to satisfy it, as we found out during the Calypso song, because that was really good Calypso music, by the way. So he had to go and try to find new plant food. And the plant, ironically, wanting to, I assume, help him and be nice, but let's face it, the plant was supposed to be evil, but even something that's evil will offer you something you want in exchange for helping it. So there is that. It was a good movie, though, minus the plot hole and the music. Well, no, the music was good, but minus the plot hole. So the plant tells him, why don't you go and take out Audrey's boyfriend? Then you can have Audrey, and I can have the body. Well, Audrey's boyfriend is the dentist. He's a masochist. He is a nutcase. He gets off on inflicting pain on people. Ironically, played by Steve Martin. And if you've ever, no offense to the man, sat through one of his movies, again, no offense to the man, you will feel a world of pain. I usually do. I just watched The Out-of-Towners earlier this week, and I swear that's a Goldie Hawn movie with Steve Martin coming along for the ride. That is all that is. And I'm not even a fan of some of the solo Steve Martin movies like The Jerk. I hate that movie with a passion. He's just not one of my favorite actors. He's really not. But basically, the dentist does himself in by overdosing on nitrous oxide, which you can do, by the way. It is laughing gas. You can actually laugh yourselves to death. There is a way to treat it. What I've heard and seen is water, but don't quote me, because most of where I got that from was a cartoon, and well, it was somewhat educational, and I'm pretty sure they had to get that information from somewhere. I haven't really felt the need to double check it since I don't deal with laughing gas, so there is that. But he overdoses on laughing gas, and Seymour technically mutilates the body, but you can't convict him for mutilating a corpse that you have no proof was mutilated. Which is ironic, seeing as Audrey 2 ended up eating Mr. Mushnick literally whole. and didn't have a problem, but Seymour had to chop up the dentist. I don't understand that part. But still, he can only really be held accountable for chopping up the dentist's body. The dentist killed himself. And that's, at least to me, anyway, that is what honestly bothers me a bit, is the fact that, oh, well, here you go. This is a person that every fan of this thing's going, well, no, in the original ending, he died. That was his atonement. That was his punishment. No, he did nothing wrong in this one. He honestly, he thought about it. But here's the thing. If thinking about doing something horrible would instantaneously grant you a punishment, we would all be screwed 24/7. You ever think about cheating in a video game? Boom, you're punished. Ever think about maybe possibly swiping $1 out of a cash register that's open while you're getting change for something that you bought because the clerk has their back turned to you because they're acting stupid? Boom, you're punished. Every single person, by the way, no, those aren't good examples, but it's just general things I thought of. Those are examples, basically. But we would be punished for even the simplest things. He thought about killing the dentist. The dentist figured, hey, I can screw him over, but unfortunately did himself in. That's the part that I don't get, is that people are still constantly on the, well, the dentist, wasn't that bad, but Seymour needed to die for his crimes. What crimes? The original one, yes. In the original 1960s version, yes. In that one, he needed to die for the crimes. That one I will not deny. He did nothing wrong in this one. And a lot of people will go, oh, well, he pushed in Mr. Mushnick into the plant. No, the plant pretty much did that on its own. Seymour actually did try to stop him. But then again, Mr. Mushnick was going to shoot Seymour. He had a gun to him. So, yeah. Self-defense, at best. The dentist, at worst. Mutilation of a corpse, but there's no body of proof. It's the kicker of the fact that you're basically punishing him then for lying, but he did no lying. He did get the plant from the guy he claims that he got during the total eclipse when all this shit happened. That's how he found the plant. He never technically lied about it. It's just the concept that people are thinking he needed to be punished, and he didn't. But the original ending, at least to me, it doesn't fit the movie. It doesn't fit what had to be done for the movie. So they had to reshoot it, and this is the part that gets a lot of people pissed off. So the original ending, Audrey dies. Seymour doesn't make it back in time to save her. He pulls her out of the plant, but she dies, and her final wish is to basically be added to the plant. By the way, you can just watch my review on this. I'll try to link it up in the corner if I forget. You can easily find it in my reviews video links, in my reviews video playlist, I should say. But basically, she says, make me part of the plant, and Seymour feeds her to Audrey too. He ends up finding out the plan after the one person comes by and says, oh, look, we took a sample of your plant and we were able to mass produce it. We're going to give it to every home in the country. Every home in the world's going to get an Audrey 2. And all of a sudden, Seymour realizes what the plan is. World domination. So, of course, the plan has to kill him, which the plant does. Basically by bringing the roof down on top of him, and thus ending Seymour by eating him whole. That's it. Then the plant goes on to just take over the world. Literally. The armies are unable to stop it. The National Guard can't stop it. Bullets bounce off of it. People just start dying left and right. And that's it. The movie ends. And while I'm going to say this, yeah, it's understandable how you want the ending to be. It's not the ending that the movie needs. Maybe it's like a bad dream or something. I mean, they could have written this one off. I'm even going to be honest here. They could have just written it off as like a bad dream. Like Seymour was asleep that night beforehand and realize that that might be what the plant wants, and realize that there's nothing he can do to stop it, and then that scares him, and he wakes up realizing it was all a dream, and he has a chance to stop the plant. That would have made for an interesting ending. Now, yes, while the ending that we did get for the theatrical release wasn't the world's greatest, and it was a slap hash together deal because they had to come up with an ending, and Seymour gets a happily ever after. If you honestly think about this movie and you really look at this version of it, the original, like I said, in the play, okay, the play he gets what's coming to him. In the book, I have not read, so I can't make any judgments. But in the 1960s one, yes, he gets what's coming to him. In the 1986 one, he doesn't do anything wrong. He is mistreated by his boss. He wants nothing more than to just tell the love of his life that he truly loves her. Which, by the way, her singing is somewhat good, but I cannot get over the fact that she literally sings a song about how she wants to be with Seymour, and then after the dentist dies, is terrified to be near him. Yeah, I don't buy that. But you have that entire concept, and then there's the whole fact that, you know, Seymour was horribly mistreated. He was an orphan. He even said it in the Skid Row song. He was poor all of his life. He was mistreated. He was born in the streets on Skid Row. Mr. Mushnick took him in, gave him a place to live, food, and a job. But Mr. Mushnick treats him like crap. The townspeople treat him like crap. Everybody in Skid Row treats him like crap, except for Audrey. Audrey actually likes him, but she can't bring herself to say it to him. I don't understand why people... I mean, okay, yeah, sure, the second ending isn't the world's greatest. Alright, I'm not gonna lie. I even said the same thing when I first saw it. I'm like, gee, that ending kind of felt half-assed. But after seeing the original ending, and then re-looking back at the half-assed ending, I'll take the half-assed ending. Sure, it's not the world's greatest. Honestly, we could have had a combination of the two, with when Audrey 2 pops out of the screen at the end, which was supposedly to scare you into thinking it was busting through the screen to eat you. That could have been when Seymour wakes up and realizes, oh crap, that's what the plant wants, and it just, you know, comes to him. Or just playing it off as a dream, and then having everything transpire except for Audrey dying, where it's like, oh, God, it's true. I had a dream just like this. This is going to happen. And then he goes to stop the plant, knowing that he now knows how to do it. At least somewhat has an idea, maybe. And basically, that's how the movie ends, then with him and Audrey then going off into the wild blue yonder. But yeah, I'm not going to lie, the second ending isn't the world's greatest, but I'll take it over the original any day of the week. The plot in this movie has a hole the size of a Mack truck you can drive through. I mean, that was my entire basis in my review. And the whole deal was, Seymour found this plant. He goes on a radio show and explains how he found this plant. What bothers me is that when this movie was taking place, the year that this movie was supposed to be taking place, Seymour making this massive announcement that he has basically somehow made contact with an alien life form. Because I don't think they would have bought that this was an actual plant. The alien life form, this would have had multiple government agencies swooping in a heartbeat, taking the plant, examining it, and then trying to find a way to take it out just in case it went rogue. Seymour probably would have been probed himself, but he still would have been popular and famous. He made first contact. They wouldn't have denied that. However, they would have kept that plant under isolation, lock, key, and probably burned it. Then again, fire wouldn't even stop that thing. No, I mean, that's my entire deal with this, is the fact that the plot in that movie was so big you could drive a Mack truck through it. It wasn't a good plot. It wasn't the world's greatest of an idea. The music in it, though, oh my god, the music was good, with the exception of that one song. The music was good. The fact that the plot sucked. The ending, the original ending wasn't the world's greatest either. I mean, especially given the circumstances of the movie. That was my entire gist in my review. And I see now why people are complaining to me. But here's the thing. That was my opinion of it. Just like this is my opinion of it. I still stand by what I said. And, I mean, I wasn't a huge fan of the first ending. I will not deny that. I'm not a huge fan of the second ending, but I'll take it over the original. But, I mean, that's where I stand on this. That was my entire general thought of this. I mean, if we want to compare the two movies, yeah, the 1960s one, yeah, Seymour had what was coming to him. In the 1986 one, he didn't. That's where it is. But anyway, I digress. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below, and let's get a discussion going. And until next time, I'm Andrew Rhodes, and this has been Andrew Discusses.